Once you're all set up and ready to go, you need to choose either a pigment cup or a pigment ring holder. Shake your pigment very, very well and add 1 or 2 drops to your pigment holder of choice. Remember from training, your needle projection needs to be approximately 2 to 3 millimeters. When you're creating hair strokes, it's important to remember that you need to stay behind your line. Wherever your hair stroke finishes should be centered to your body, and you should be behind that line. So whilst you're practicing at home, you may need to reposition your mat to make sure that your hair strokes are centered to your body. When you dip into your pigment, just make sure that you clean your blob before you start. And remember that the mats require a lot more pressure than skin, and you will get a lot more vibration. So don't worry too much if your lines are a little bit squiggly to begin with. When you have your position, remember your free waist stretch and move very, very slowly once you're in the skin. Notice that I need to reposition my mat because I'm no longer behind my line. Once my mat is positioned properly, I'm behind my line. I'm ready to start. I have my stretch. I apply the needle to the mat and I move slowly. I work quite quickly, but you should move slower than this if you don't feel comfortable. If you can't move your mat to be behind your line, move your body. Keep your mat center and move your body, because in reality your client will not move. You will move around the bed. Don't worry too much about this. We will practice this more when you come into the training school. Frequently dip into your pigment. I would say maybe every 1 or 2 passes, and don't forget to clean your blob. If you've noticed, there's a little spray of pigment. This is because I've got excess pigment in my needle, which I should be cleaning with tissue, and my pressure might be just a bit too much on the mats, which is resulting in vibration, and you can see the pigment spraying. If this happens, just clean your mat and start again. I'm using baby wipes to clean. You could also use antibacterial wipes if you find that your pigment is staining the mats. Once you've completed your first pass and you've gone over all of your gold lines, you want to start reinforcing, which means going over the lines a second time to reinforce those lines to make them darker and more visible. You can also start adding to your hair stroke by making branches, which are smaller hair strokes that either attach to the bigger trunks of the brow that you can see there, or you can apply small hair strokes in between the gaps. So I've just created a branch because it branches onto one of the trunks. This is another branch because it's attached to another one, another hair stroke. And this is another branch. They almost look like Ys, like the letter Y. I'm now creating a solitary hair stroke because it's not branching onto any other existing hair stroke. It sits independently on its own. The same again here. Just filling in the gaps, and then another branch and another one. Once you've cleaned your mat, you're going to reinforce one more time and look for any other gaps where you could fill in. In reality, your client would actually have hair, well, more often than not. So you don't always need too many hair strokes. And it's better not to have too many anyway, because when the hair strokes are healing, they expand in the skin. So if they're too close together, they're definitely going to touch. I wanted to point out as well, don't be afraid to crisscross slightly. Our eyebrows naturally crisscross over each other, so don't be afraid to do that. And especially my existing microbladers, you've probably been taught that you can't crisscross with a microblade, and that is very true. But with machine, you can, because it doesn't cause as much trauma to the skin. So I'd like you to do 5 of these eyebrows, ladies, before next week. I'd also like you to practice some of your bulbs on the brown mat, which is inkless. You don't need ink to use it. And I hope this has helped. I'm going to give you more of a structure next week so that you can do it without the gold lines as a guide. And yeah, any questions, just let me know in the group. I hope this has helped.